All right. We're live, boys. Not live,
No,
but
I was
recording.
gonna say
I have
live
to
for
say,
now, but not later live.
Not in person, but remote and
Remote live.
recorded.
this is
Remote
live
live.
for us,
There you
but for the
go.
listeners, it's not. Yeah.
See what happens when you break your fast too early? It makes your brain all clouded, man.
It's
Makes
only
you
a
all
few minutes
weird.
early. I'm good.
I think you'll be all right. How long you been doing that?
About a week. I'm 5 pounds down.
I did it for excuse me. I did it for a couple of months, and that, and then when I did paleo for a while. That I had a lot of luck with that. But the fasting, yeah, the weight seemed to just melt off, and I felt better. Why I excuse me, why I draw I think it's like any other diet change. I don't mean like fad diet, but just the way patterns and habits. I just fucked up. So, and I've
Yeah.
started gaining weight again. So I need to get back on it. Which one are you doing? As you said, it stops at 11.
Yeah, I'm doing 11. Oh, yeah, the fast stops at 11. So I'm eating 11 to 7.
Okay, so that's the 18-6 or something like that.
Yeah, my buddy's doing 10-14 for the first time. He's not having a great time.
That seems
I'm
like it'd be
so hungry. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
it's a fast.
I didn't feel like actually hungry.
Yeah.
And I don't think most of the times when I eat, I am hungry, air quotes. It's just I eat because sometimes I'm bored. I'm a
Yeah.
fucking boredom eater, dude.
The
And then
food
some.
is here and I am here.
Let's make this happen. Yeah, it's most of my eating I think comes out of boredom, honestly. And I like food. It's the dopamine response of eating and your brain going, "Oh, good, more." So,
Yeah.
uh,
There's a weird good feeling to being fasted.
yeah,
It's strange. It's
yeah.
it's weird to it's hard to explain, but
Takes about a week, and you start to get sort of a I don't know if it's dopamine or what. There was I saw something. It may have been on Netflix, like Vox Explained or something like that, and they talked about fasting and the way that like your DNA, is it your DNA, the strands they get tighter
yeah.
when you fast. Like your entire body goes into a sort of a positive biological state.
Survival mode.
Yeah, and inside a certain time frame, it's healthy, right? I'm sure there's some detriment if you go too long without
Yeah, if you
eating.
starve yourself to death, that's usually a bad thing.
Right? If this is good, I'm gonna go one better. Excuse me, but yeah, it was really interesting, and that caused me to read up on some stuff. And they've some tests they've done in rats and things like that. It shows a real positive response. We all know that Americans especially overeat, but I think that I think as human beings we probably overeat. And what I mean by that, this is just kind of a weird belief that I've held for a long time, is that technology and society, we've kind of outpaced evolution, right? Evolution is a very slow, meticulous process, and in
Kind of. Are you fucking shitting me?
just
Kind
a
of.
snooch, a snooch.
Hey,
Let's see. Over the
The
course of
Earth
the
is only
last
5,000 years old. Okay.
And
in the
flat.
course of the last 100 years.
Right. That's where I was going with that. Right.
I mean,
Look at the
God
technology. Right. Look at the advances. I mean, even in like medicine and stuff, we, excuse me, we've got a lot of humans on this planet that wouldn't have survived, 500 years ago, let alone 5,000 when the earth was created. So,
Jesus,
sorry.
fuck on a cracker.
Couldn't help myself. Adam threw it in there and it
Yeah,
bounced around.
wait
And
a
I had to
second. Hold on.
regurgitate.
While we're throwing shit out here, it was this flat Earth was created 5,000 years ago. While
Yeah,
we're going with dumb
right.
shit,
That's what I said. It's 5,000 years old and it's flat.
It's actually a donut shape. It's like Halo.
Halos, right? But the way that we've kept people alive and the food that we eat and everything else, we were predominantly hunter gatherers. And now I hunt, buy one, get one, and I gather the fucking cookies out of my cabinet. And I think fasting kind of puts us back to that. It reduces the amount of fuel that we put in our bodies, and it allows our bodies to actually burn it. So like I said, I've personally have had some positive, some benefits from it, and I'm glad to hear that you are too. So
Yeah, it usually makes me feel pretty good after a couple days. The first night sucks ass, but
oh yeah, it's like any drug addiction, right? Your brain's like, hey,
hey,
you
sugar.
want some sugar?
Hey.
You know what else would be cool? Carbs, because sugar. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you ladies are you ladies done discussing your diets now?
Doug, I have a
Are
question.
we
I have a
going to move
question.
on to like the makeup segment now, or we give somebody a fucking makeover?
I was thinking Pinterest. I thought we could talk about
This
Pinterest.
podcast brought to you by E.
Entertainment Television.
Yeah, where you can watch my super fat ass 750-pound life. Oh no, that's TLC. Totally get
All
those
these acronyms really trip me up.
The Learning Channel.
Yeah, you don't learn about shit on the Learning
Or the
Channel
History
anymore.
Channel, where some guy goes in and pawns stuff for 2 hours.
I mean, what happened, right? Because there used to
true
be
history. Hey,
TLC.
listen, what happened was people consume trash, so they sell trash. That's what happened.
Well, I mean, it's like we've probably got what 5,000 years of recorded history. So
Give or take.
you tune to the History Channel, and you would figure with 5,000 years of recorded history, they would have enough content to keep that channel running for a while.
And as time goes on, you get more content. It's weird. It's fucking history.
It's fucking history. What I just said is now officially fucking history.
Oh God!
And I remember when those channels.
But no, let's make another fucking Real Housewives of fucking bumfuck nowhere.
Fuck Egypt, right? Yeah. And it's funny too because you said that
you stay away from my man, Susie Lou.
He makes more money than your man.
People consume trash, right? And it's kind of funny that we segued out of talking about diet and eating garbage. It's like human beings we're like fucking the little bottom, like carp. We want to eat shit. That's our goal in life.
We are the shrimp of
right, exactly. Yeah, it's weird because I remember when TLC and History and some of those channels came out and they were cool, right? I found myself at late 20s watching shit, enjoying shit that in middle school and high school I hated when they put on the TV. Like, oh, I don't care about Napoleon. And now I'm like, fucking Napoleon, fuck yeah, grab the popcorn. Gonna sit down for a marathon on the French Revolution. This is fucking cool. And now it's all just garbage. And we can go back to the old ye old Tiger King that I refuse to fucking watch because
dude, you're gonna end up watching
trash.
it.
No, it is trash. It is the fucking McDonald's of the audio video fucking world.
Yeah, never seen you eat McDonald's.
Shut up. 2 quarter pounders, large Coke, and a fry. I weigh about 3,000 fucking calories for the day.
Jesus Christ.
All right, guys. So the real question of the podcast: who was in the wrong at Waco?
Oh, you've been watching that, have you?
Yes.
Gotcha. Boy, yeah, you're really wanting to light a fire on that one. I'm not a Koresh fan, so I'm not a Koresh fan. I think he was an asshole. I think he was responsible. I definitely think that it was mishandled by the federal government as well. But I think that, and again, this is conjecture. There's no way to ever know, but I think that dumbass was something bad was going to happen with him involved regardless. Right.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say.
So Dan is taking the position of mind you, the controversial position of cults are fucking bad. Whoa,
Weird.
you went out on a goddamn
Hot
limb
takes.
with that one.
Hot
Yeah,
takes
dude.
only on this podcast.
Hey, for the record, man, I'm polarizing. I do what I want. It's fine. I do what I want.
I think he did nothing wrong, and they pulled up to his house with a tank. And
Go on.
that's it. Then they just started firing into his house.
That's not exactly how it went, though.
Is it not?
Trolly McTrollerson.
Is it not? Guess what? He's dead because he blew his brains out.
Huh.
And so the only real story we have is the ATF.
Well, funny how that works, right? What is it, the winners
Decide history.
There we go. Yeah. Look, we're back to history again, man. This is just one big circular fucking argument.
This is a big circle jerk. Welcome to the Circle Jerk podcast.
Well, I mean, anytime we get together and start running our jibs, it's usually a psychological circle jerk. I didn't want to say it was actually a circle jerk.
Throw this one to you in chat.
Oh, God.
It's more dumb coronavirus news. So
it's not, though, but go ahead. Go ahead. Now I'll explain why.
All right. So this lady, she's from Kazakhstan. She's been living in Turkey, and they've been under lockdown in Turkey. So now she's probably like a 10 in Kazakhstan. I mean, she's a nice looking girl, but she's not like,
Was.
She was. Yeah, I bet she looks a lot different now. So,
goddamn.
So she goes up to the edge of a grassy cliff so her friend can take pictures of her and falls 115 feet to her death. To which I say, ha 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 ha.
So why? That's not.
Yeah.
All right.
When you go over security fences and past tape designed to help you stay alive and you die, then I have only one thing to say.
She jumped a fence to get over there and die?
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, so it's I'm kind of with Doug on that one. I mean, I hate it for the family.
That's different, yeah. I thought maybe she just posed on a rock and fell and died.
No.
Okay.
And so you mentioned the whole Corona thing, and the reason that I said it's really not about that is that I was just reading about a year or so ago that phenomenon, if you will, has increased in commonality a ton lately. These people going way out of their way to get that Instagram photo, and they're fucking getting hurt and killed and hurting other people. It's like, dude,
well, they get too close to like dangerous cat enclosures, like lions, tigers, fucking bears. There were two dudes that, and this one was my personal favorite. There were two dudes that they were learning to fly. They were in a Cessna, and they were trying to get the perfect selfie, crashed the plane, and it fucking killed both of them. I had just
did they get
like
the picture?
A 5-year-old who heard shit for the first time.
But did they get the picture?
Right? Did they get it for the gram?
Because they could have posted while they were in the air, and then.
Well, I mean, hell, it was a Cessna. I mean, a smartphone is the fucking black box. Are you shitting me?
Yeah, fair enough, right? Because Android, see where they're at.
Let's look at here. Oh, yeah, there's the last photo. Boom.
I mean, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I've been playing with photography since I was a kid, right? And Instagram to me is really cool. It's actually one of my favorite social media outlets because for the most part, you don't get into a lot of politics and back and forth and bullshit. And even if you do, it's all in the comments. You're not inundated with it, right? And I have seen some gorgeous fucking photography on Instagram, some of it, cell phone. And a lot of people, me included, I've taken pictures with my DSLR, uploaded it to my phone, put it on Instagram, right? But I don't do anything. I don't do anything fucking stupid to get the shot. I mean,
let me hang off the side of this building and take a photo of my feet dangling
Oh
12
yeah.
stories.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of those. And, I think the only like the silliest photo I ever took is I was out in the Pawnee grasslands and I parked my bike perpendicular in the road, middle of the road to get that shot, kind of a classic shot. You got your image and then the road behind it going on into infinity. But one, I left the bike running. So I just had to jump on it. And two, I had a clear line of sight and plenty of road behind me. It's a pretty common shot, right? And I even felt kind of dickish doing that, like, oh Jesus, I'm that guy now, right? But yeah, hanging off a thing, fucking falling off cliffs, shit, like, fuck, dude, stop,
But it's all about the likes, bro.
Well, I mean,
Instagram
dude,
is
if I
sifting
had
out
done the same thing and a semi truck came over at that point in time,
I would not want sympathy,
and then just ran my bike totally over, and I told you about it. Yeah, I was trying to get this. What kind of shit would you have given me? Are you kidding me?
fucking tons, and I would expect the same, right? If I told you, I would expect you guys to both be like, "Oh, that was fucking bright, wasn't it?" Right? And I think that's the difference. I don't expect sympathy when I do stupid shit. If I, again, polarizing fucking opinion here, if I do something fucking dumb and I don't expect sympathy, right? I don't expect sympathy ever. I appreciate sympathy when something bad happens to me that I had no control of or that somebody else did. I like when people say, hey man, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Right? If you have a family member pass or something. But if you did something fucking stupid, you'll be lucky that I don't laugh at you in fucking public, right? I mean, and be, well, you never did anything fucking stupid every goddamned day. Okay. I do stupid shit so much all the time. I can't even fathom it. Right. Exactly. Right. I record it for about an hour and a half every other fucking week and post it on the internet. So I just, the difference is I don't expect the sympathy that some people do, like, oh, I did something stupid and it didn't work out and now people should feel bad for me. Oh, fuck you, dude.
I hate goddamn drama queens.
Well, and
that they don't have to just be ladies; it can be dudes too.
No, drama royalty, right? Kings and queens,
the entire fucking family,
right? Yeah, drama king the third,
drama,
Duke of drama. Yeah, it's
kids confuse stuff that they have control over with stuff that they don't.
What do you mean? Like it?
Like, oh, dude, I went and took a picture on this cliff and fell. Oh, I feel bad for me. How could this have happened?
Right. Sort of like that dude who didn't tell anybody where he was going. Decided to go in an area that had no cell phone signal, crawl through rock canyons, and then get stuck and had to cut off his goddamn arm with a Swiss Army knife to be able to free himself so he didn't die. And they made a movie about it.
Yeah, it's but
it's a pretty cool movie though.
Because we consume trash. Number two, I actually read the bio on that guy, and what's funny about it, and I ain't even going to throw shade at him because based on the articles I've read, I think he knows. Like, first of all, he cut off his own fucking arm, right? So I think he's even with karma. I think him and karma are fucking good. And two, he really doesn't come across as the type looking for sympathy. He doesn't flat out say, hey, I'm a fucking moron, but he's never like, I lost my arm. What about the dude?
Earlier podcast where it's like nobody apologizes by saying, yeah, I'm a fucking dumbass.
Right. I think the world would be a better place. And it also reminds me of in the movie Into the Wild, I think it was, which is a great movie, right? And the story is really bizarre. But again, when people completely lack common sense in their judgment calls, it's hard for me to feel bad for them. I don't know if that makes me a horrible human being. I don't think so. I think if you want to really dig into it, I have plenty of reasons why I'm a fucking horrible human being, but that's not one of them. I'll defend that. But yeah, I mean, if you're, hell,
I'm a Darwinist.
I guess I am too. And, I've even thought about getting like a GPS tracker for the bike and shit because I go up in the mountains. And again, people don't know where I am. I go across, hit a turn too hard. I go over a fucking cliff and I'm laying 50 feet down, bleeding out. Nobody knows I'm there. Nobody's expecting me, whatever. So there's you can argue what is and is not stupid, right? But then there are some things that I think are sort of universal, like you said, climbing over security fences and shit like that, going to a dangerous area. Or that I thought I was reading the other day about these people that are like going into the Chernobyl exclusion zone and shit like that, and they're like doing selfies and shit inside the exclusion zone.
Yes.
And
you take a picture and then you look at it and it's just white noise.
There's something wrong with my phone. Nervous tick, bleeding
and then
gums.
like every time they orgasm after that, there's like a little glow in the room or something. It's like, good, you can't have children anymore. Awesome.
That'd be kind of cool, actually. Wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. I want to explore this.
I think this is how most superhero movies start.
Yeah, except like in superhero movies, radiation is always the cause of superpowers. Never anybody just getting cancer and fucking croaking.
Well, Captain Glownut, Captain.
Notice you didn't say glow nuts.
No, because I think after that much radiation, you either have one big golf ball sized one, or you're just missing one fucking completely. I don't know how radiation necessarily affects superhero testicles. I don't know.
Let me go slam mine in the microwave, guys. I'll be right back.
He's going to do the South Park, except we're already in Colorado.
Oh my God.
Well, things have been getting interesting with coronavirus lately. Well, actually, not lately, the entire time, with animals taking over areas that they weren't previously in. Like there's like a flock of sheep somewhere that have adopted a fucking McDonald's parking lot.
Nice.
Bunch of crazy shit. Now, I found this one the other day where this mom who worked at a hospital, I'm going to throw the story back down here. This mom who worked at a hospital was socially distancing from her kid because obviously she works in the hospital, doesn't want her kid to get it, spread it around the whole nine. So it was Easter, which has been a couple of weeks ago. So she got a Easter basket, and actually in this case, it's an Easter, one of those little paper bag jobs with the handles on them.
Mm-hmm.
And she set it outside the door, and apparently a squirrel raided that fucking basket and took like all kinds of shit out of that basket. And they were like thinking maybe a neighborhood kid had come by and stole something. But apparently they had some home security cameras and went back and reviewed the footage and saw the squirrel just, fucking face deep with his tail sticking out, yanking out shit out of there. And then he would run off to the side and eat the shit. And then he would hop back in the fucking basket.
Squirrels.
Yeah. And I think probably half of the internet has seen the video of the groundhog eating the pizza right outside of a screen door with fucking two huge dogs just sitting there watching. And that groundhog just has no fucks. Like, yeah, pizza's good, bitch. What you can have from this shit. My goddamn pizza. Yeah. Num, 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 num. Fuck you. Pizza.
I hold the belief that groundhogs are for sighting in rifles. The only thing they should be fed are green tip ammunition. I believe that is their sole purpose in life. I feel the same way about prairie dogs, but they're overly fucking protected out here. They better hope the day never comes that they lift the protections on those little rat bastards.
There's so fucking many here.
Plinking targets.
Well, there's so many.
They are the chicken McNuggets of a lot of other endangered species.
Yeah, I know, and I get that, but one, I don't know why we need them in the middle of Denver. I outside, I understand that, and yeah, chicken nuggets are about the best way to describe that. I mean, I kept dodging them yesterday. I was out on the bike and I kept having to fucking dodge them. I'm like, dude, please, I do not want to die because I hit a fucking prairie dog and lose control of my bike. I don't want to go down like that.
I've seen a lot of foxes and coyotes out here. I have yet to see one that looks like it's starving to death because
Right.
of all the goddamn rabbits and prairie dogs that are out here. That is
Oh
the
yeah,
one
the
thing
rabbits.
for those of you that don't live in Denver. Uh, it was absolutely shocking the amount of rabbits that I see everywhere nibbling grass. Now, I have to get out a little farther to see prairie dogs, but I have never. I mean, it's like I am a firm believer that if the zombie apocalypse happened and I like hold up sort of like everybody is right now and I had to survive, I would just set out rabbit traps and I would never fucking go hungry. That's all I'm saying.
Set out rabbit traps. Somebody's been playing Don't Starve Together too much. So
Yeah,
fucking beefalo and
meatballs, bitch.
Krampus, right?
Oh,
Make some
oh.
meatballs in the crock pot. Yeah.
So I've been playing Dead Side, right?
Mhm.
It's very, very Russian.
All
All the
right.
town names are like Ukbekivokik, and everyone has Adidas track pants on.
So DayZ, basically. Yeah, it was the same way. I can't pronounce any of the fucking cities in DayZ at all, and they're all in the track pants and shit like
I
that.
think the devs were, or the devs are Russian because all of the original documentation for the game is in Russian.
Russian, yeah.
And I think they've been writing it in English now because people are actually getting interested in the game, but it's pretty funny.
They seem to be. There's a couple of good survival games out there that tend to have some, like Russian or
Dying
uh,
Light was Polish.
was it really? Oh yeah, that's right. They are. So yeah, they've done that group, that area of the world seems to really like their survival games, and quite frankly, yeah, they're pretty good at it. So DayZ was great before they started running it as a standalone. Dying Light, I had no intentions of enjoying that game as much as I did, and I'm going to check out Dead Side at some point. I haven't had a lot of time on my hands, but
It's not done, so
that
just,
seems to be the way games go now. Yeah,
especially
Ah!
these games.
it's just the way games are going now.
Survival games are all like that. Early access for
Yeah.
17 years, and then we're gonna stop making it.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's sometimes it becomes a real full game, and most times it just doesn't. So there was one called Miscreated. I don't know if it ever got out of early access or not. I played that for a while.
That was the most aptly named game ever.
I
Was it
enjoyed
that
it.
bad?
I liked it. It had a lot of good qualities, but it was rushed. Yeah, you could tell it was rushed. And then
Well,
Rust is okay, but it gets tedious and boring. I'm not a big PvP guy. I'm more PvE. I like to fight the environment. Or in DayZ, when it was a mod, you had the mindless zombies. Miscreated had mutants. I've always liked those kinds of games. PvP gets on my fucking nerves, but
That's kind of why I enjoyed Dead Side. The AI is really fucking good. They'll
Yeah.
snipe you from across the fucking map.
yeah, and I can enjoy that. I definitely can.
hi. Oh, that was a great experience.
Yeah,
What?
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like it.
Well, you gotta be aware. You gotta be aware of your surroundings.
Exactly. I like base building. I like crafting. I like resource gathering within reason. That's like, Doug, did you ever wind up playing the game that you sent me? It was one player, but you set up all the sentries and you have to gather minerals and things to keep them.
Artificial
running.
extinction.
Yeah.
If you get past the preachy AI robot, it's not a bad game. But it's like, it seems like the whole, because I can't beat that last level. I have spent days trying, because what it is you you're leaving the Earth. And in the time that you've left the Earth, it takes you like 5 years to get to where you're going, where you're going to colonize this new planet. And humans have really embraced artificial intelligence and have sent legions of AI robots there ahead of you to, defend you, help with bullshit, the whole 9 yards. And in the time between that you left from Earth and the time that you arrive where you're at, artificial intelligence has gone through their it's basically started their own fucking revolution. So as soon as you get there, you more or less are trying to look for a spot for your family, which is like 9 or 10 days behind you. So you're trying to look for a habitable spot for your family. So you land in these spots and it has resources, and you gather these resources and build defenses while the AI tries to come up and kill you, and it's constantly evolving. It's a pretty good game. It's kind of like a castle defense game.
That's what I was going to say. Tower defense.
Yeah, except for the goddamn preachy AI who's like, if humans wouldn't have done this and done that and arms race and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, that's what we're fucking doing now, jackass. Okay, it's me against the AI, and then I come up with better shit, and the AI comes up with shit to counter it, and, nobody's fucking shaking hands here and making goddamn rainbows and prancing through fucking, flower fields together while Happy Together plays in the background.
Doug, it's okay, man. It's all right.
This is why we don't let Doug play video games. It never turns out well. So goes on diatribes. It's very unhealthy.
Can we talk about these monkeys while we're recording? Because it's really interesting to me.
Monkeys?
Which ones?
Yes. The monkeys flying kites and breaking out of their enclosures with rocks. That makes me feel really bad about keeping them in captivity.
Yeah, I fucking hate monkeys. I
they're
despise.
Smart.
They're fucking stupid.
You can hate them. I hate people, but we shouldn't put them in a cage.
I disagree. So.
Oh my god!
I don't like monkeys. They're annoying. I don't like monkeys. I don't like llamas. That's how things go.
Did you ever think you would see a video of a goddamn monkey flying a motherfucking kite?
Yeah, see, they're smart, Dan.
No, but I've seen some really stupid fucking people doing some really cool shit. So I have to assume, and quite frankly, I didn't think they were as smart as monkeys. So, I mean, I guess I'm not that shocked, Like I said earlier, I remember when Planet of the Apes came out, maybe the second one, and they, or the second 19th reboot of it, whatever. And they had this monkey, they were in some, African village, and a monkey gets a hold of an AK-47 and goes around, shooting at people. And the fucking comments were just gold. People are like, it's what happens in guns and people, and you shouldn't let monkeys have guns. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, no, we shouldn't let monkeys have fucking access to the internet is what we shouldn't fucking do. But here we are. Right. So I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen. I know you sent that over. I didn't watch it. And the one about him breaking out of his enclosure again, I got to wonder: is that real? Is it CGI? Is it?
No, it's absolutely real. That monkey is sitting there, and it, and the premise of the video is that the monkey is smart enough to use a rock to break out of his enclosure, but personally, I think as opposed to trying to break out of his enclosure, that may have been part of it. But I think if you look at the video and just look at the way that monkey was doing it, I think he was just bored as fuck. He probably wanted food or something else, because as soon as the goddamn glass breaks, you can tell that was not an expected reaction for him.
Right.
Yeah, he runs the fuck off because it just shatters.
He goddamn bolts.
Well, but hey, look at all of the cool technologically advancements we have because monkey-like people have created stupid shit that we enjoy. Um, so yeah, I could see it being an unintended result that worked out for him. I've known quite a few people that's kind of their MO. So,
Yeah.
The
fuck,
internet.
look at that. Success.
Now what do I do? There's been, so I read something once that I thought was ingenious. Might have been a comedian. And he says that we thought for a long time that ignorance was due to a lack of information, the inability to get information, and the advent of the internet disproved that completely. And I absolutely agree with that, right? Because now you have all this information at your fingertips, and people still choose to find the dumbest shit, say the dumbest shit, cling to the dumbest shit. I've said before, and I, especially with everything going on right now, I have to reiterate it when people, because I've got friends I'm coming to find. Well, first of all, that's kind of interesting that I have friends. Two,
Yeah, I thought that was the entire statement.
that's it. That's all I got.
And we all moved on. It was great.
Is that the all the politics and Corona and all that? I've got friends on both sides of this, right? And everyone wants to argue with me and fight with me about why their way is right. It's very rare that you're ever gonna immediately change my mind about something just by saying something to me, right? Now, people have said things to me and I've taken that, it's rattled around in my brain, and I've read up on things, and I have changed. I will change my mind. I do change my mind, right? But I told someone that as far as opening everything back up, people just want us to flip this switch because it's all Democrat nonsense, it's all liberal nonsense, it's all fake, whatever. Okay, it's all to hurt Trump, which is why China, Spain, Italy, and all these other countries were fucking decimated by it. It's all a big ruse. But I also believe that the economy has to be. We've got to get people back to work, right? You can't sit in your house all day. You want to kill people for money. I do, but that's a whole different fucking scenario that a psychiatrist says that I shouldn't talk about on the podcast. But but like a buddy of mine brought up the idea of, he says, open up restaurants and only allow half capacity. If the place holds 100, only allowed 40 or 50 in. You're keeping this distance. Most restaurants, as somebody who's worked in a lot of them, are a hell of a lot cleaner than your kitchen is. There's I don't get the reference. What is Leon?
Leon the Professional?
Oh, wow. I haven't seen that movie since probably before you were born. Yeah, no shit. More Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, that's Dan.
But so the point is that nothing in my life has ever been black or white, right? No decision I've ever had to make was black or white. I wish that it was. There are caveats and there are, nuances, and there's things that I don't know. If the idea of wearing a face covering right now, why there's very little data, right? Well, this ain't no worse than the flu. And I don't know why I always go into like a fucking Southern or West Virginia accent when I want to depict stupid people verbally, but I do it and it's terrible, but I'm laughing about it. So apparently I don't feel that bad. But people, it ain't no worse than the flu. We don't know that yet, right? Because we don't have the statistics. We don't have the numbers. If the CDC is telling me, and we all know I'm not a big fan of the Fed, but if the CDC is telling me, throw a covering on your face when you go out into large groups, when you go to the store, shit like that, I have no problems with that, right? And I saw a great meme that it said, if a guy goes out naked and he pees on you, you're going to get wet, right? Your pants are going to get wet. If he's wearing pants and you're wearing pants and he tries to pee on you, it's a little bit more difficult. You're probably going to stay a little more dry. And I thought, hey, see, there you go, right? That's a good way of putting it. I don't mind throwing like this shit of locking everything down and closing roads. There are small mountain towns out here that are closing off roads to, outsiders, quote unquote. Dude, that is some Orwellian bullshit right there, right? Some 1984 stuff. That I don't.
They did it during the Spanish flu pandemic.
Right. And again, I just don't agree with that. Right. But throwing a covering on my face to go to the store doesn't bother me. Right.
If
And
I fart and it passes through my jeans, all right,
yeah,
and you
go on.
smell it,
Yeah, go on.
then how is a fucking face fucking thing?
Well, I've got a feeling after this whole thing is all said and done, there's going to be a lot of we should have done this, we should have done that,
Oh,
because we have the
absolutely.
benefit of hindsight.
Right,
Kind of what
absolutely.
we're going through right now is we're trying to measure the rate that water is coming in the boat while we're on it as it sinks. We're trying to estimate how much time we got left. What if we reached out to the Coast Guard if they're on their way or not. Right now we are in the situation and we don't fucking know.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And that's all I'm saying. It's so if taking some precautions, let's get people back to work. Let's take some precautions. But this idea that it's all, I get it's the politicization. I can't say that right now. Making everything way more political than it fucking has to be. See, that's why I like big words, is I can take big stretchy sentences and turn them into one word. Politicizing. There we go. Is driving me nuts, and how it's all left and right, and we all know I'm a big disciple of the Church of Carlin. And George Carlin talks about the owners of this country. And I fully believe that. Right. And two, he talks about the illusion of choice. And one of my favorite statements, he was actually on Bill Maher used to have a show called
Go Fuck Yourself.
No, that was a totally different show. God.
No. Well, see, the thing is like, once you get to so far, I'm a big centrist. I believe there are demitards. I believe there are republitards. The farther you swing to either end of the spectrum, the more crazy and conspiracy theory bullshit that you get. I'm in the middle. I may be like 1 degree left or 1 degree right, but I'm pretty much in the middle.
Right.
And the whole thing is with the now I can't even say it.
Politicization.
Dan, did you fucking sneeze on me? You weren't wearing your face covering, bitch. Anyway, yeah, I've about had it with all that stuff too, where goddamn Karens are going nuts with this shit. And for all of you people that may or may not be Redditors, a Karen is the chick that she always has to speak to the manager all the fucking time.
And she has the haircut
about everything, and especially, the haircut that was popular in the 90s.
Live, love, laugh, Doug. Live, love.
Have you seen
laugh.
the lashback against Karen?
Oh, about the term about calling people Karens? Yeah, there is.
Karen is as bad as the N-word.
Yeah.
No, because you said one of them and you didn't say the other one. So
yeah, I think you disproved your own point. And the show was called Politically Incorrect. That was how Bill Maher started. And I actually liked that show a lot more than Real Time.
He's a comedian, but
he's gotten his fucking views. Anyway, they had George Carlin on there, and I can't remember if that was one that had Marilyn Manson or not. I don't think it was, but anyway, yeah, he talks about one of my favorite quotes from him is he talks about how you've got 31 flavors of ice cream you can choose from, but only 2 political parties. He's like, and these people, they don't need Illuminati like meetings and shit like that to determine what's going to happen, because what's good for one side is really what's good for the other. They all go to the same schools. They all are in the same fucking yacht clubs, Skull and Bones, that kind of shit. And it's just really hard for me to understand how other people don't understand that, right? That they one panders to one side, one panders to the other, but at the end of the day, they're all very wealthy, in control. There's a lot of shit coming out right now about the big question is did we know about COVID prior to when it was announced to the public. Well, of course we did, right? I mean,
Yeah.
duh. But how far in advance? One, and two, did politicians benefit from that? They're finding where a lot of these politicians sold and bought stocks
Yep.
prior to it being and a lot of them are like, well, we don't know, that's our fund manager and he does this and he doesn't. Get the fuck out of here.
Hit for insider trading. It's been all over
Basically,
the goddamn news
yeah.
when it hasn't been
Right.
coronavirus.
I know that a pandemic is about to hit, right? It's hit several other countries. We know what's going on. So I'm going to sell all this stock, like entertainment and stuff like that. And I'm going to buy companies that, oh, weird, they make a bunch of PPE or a bunch of raw material, much like we've talked about with the gold rush in the West back in the day. It wasn't the guys who were digging up gold that were making all the money. It was guys like Levi who were making jeans, and the guy who made shovels and wheelbarrows and shit like that made a ton of fucking money. Well, if you're the guy who owns a company that presses acrylic into face shields and shit like that, you're going to make a mint, right? It doesn't bother me as much that the government mishandled the way we did things, because pandemics, like you said, the Spanish flu, that's not something that we have a lot of experience with, Okay, we fucked up a little bit. But when I find out that people may have profited from it, I get it. I just said, I think all government is fucking corrupt, period.
Yep.
But when you do shit like that, I start thinking capital punishment, right? Like, fuck you,
They won't. They'll get, some fines.
It'll disappear because the media will throw out, and I know I've got friends that were in media and they're like, I hate when people just say mainstream media and you just lump it all in. Guys, I'm sorry. Again, it's one of those, don't hate the player, hate the game. I don't hate a lot of journalists. I spent about a year as a journalist for a newspaper, right? I have a lot of respect for them, and I think it's a very difficult job to pull out information and make things balance. But the companies you are working for give fuck all about any of that. They're there to sell ads. They want to make money. And then if you're like Fox News, where one of your anchors says something and the next day the president says it or retweets it or whatever, you start to realize that you and your company are literally influencing the president of the United States and the decisions he makes. That's a lot of power, man. That's a lot of fucking power. And that's what people care about. They care about power, money, influence. Fuck, we can go back to Instagram, right? Why do people do that? We have influencers on Instagram, people that are, trying to influence other people. And so they do the shit to get the likes, to get the dopamine.
They're talking about doing away with publicly displaying numbers of likes.
Yeah, didn't YouTube already start doing something like that?
YouTube hasn't, but I think Instagram's doing it in a trial thing where they just kind of randomly select certain profiles.
That sounds, yeah.
That's going to do away with that whole fucking business.
Yeah, because people aren't giving, if you're the only one that can see your likes, and there are people definitely pushing against that.
Yeah.
It's one thing if it's a valid business model, but at what point, and this is, kind of my, again, the whole no black or white, right? I'm not a big fan of the feds. I'm not a big fan of regulation, but at what point do you have to step in and slow down a business model that is psychologically damaging your populace, right? At what point? And again, I don't have an answer for that, but you need to think about it. And speaking of Bill Maher again, who I am not a fan of, because of the way he portrays shit, right? He's kind of the Rush Limbaugh of the other side, right? He just says stupid inflammatory shit for ratings and whatnot. And I hate that. I just hate that model. Say what you got to say, speak your mind, and people agree and some people won't. But he did do a video here recently, kind of a quarantine video about zootropic. Is it zootropic? I'm probably not saying that right. But basically, he was talking about the food production environment that we have in the United States, like the caged chickens that have never see the fucking light of day, and there's thousands of them, and all the antibiotics that you've got to pump them with to keep them safe, basically, right? Anytime you take a bunch of organic, or organisms, and you crush them into the same spot, China, you get these diseases. The China virus. Fuck, I'm sick of hearing that too. It's like we're blaming China. We're blaming a population because of a fucking virus that had an outbreak. Shut the fuck up with that, okay? Shit happens. It could have been us. It could have been fucking Tahiti. It could have been anywhere. Get the fuck off of China's jock, all right? Those
Didn't
people.
we call the other one the Spanish flu?
We did, and they did, and there's no.
It originated in the United States.
They don't know that. They don't know that. The first cases were found, right? All I'm saying is, again, it's one of those things. It's not black or white. But, right, where the fuck did we come up with Spanish flu? It was propaganda.
Let me Google that for you.
I don't believe Google either. I don't believe anything but myself.
Yeah, I don't believe mainstream media like Google. Look it up on DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo, right? Exactly. Yeah, it was in Kansas
you.
City at a military base that they found the first. They found the first cases of it. So for all intents, but they
farm in Kansas. And it came from a pig farm in Kansas, and we had this discussion, like either in the first or the second podcast, where you had a pig farm. And, swine flu goes both ways. So what you had happen...
Like Doug.
Yeah. Start pointing at him. Go ahead. Be my guest. There you go. All right. But, yeah, what you had is you had a pig that was exposed to the seasonal human flu and exposed to a bird that had the bird flu, and he was the vector to combine... I don't know if it was a male pig. I don't know that much about it. But
you know a lot about this, Doug, for it being 100 years ago and epidemiology being what it was.
But it was exposed to bird flu and human flu, and those two did the viral nasty and came out with the Spanish flu, which was much fucking nastier.
Well, now it makes sense why they call it the Spanish flu. I get it.
It makes so much sense. And that's, again, people are just people, but the idea that that we're sitting on a time bomb over here with the way we do the chicken coops and the pigs and the cows, and guys, I'm an animal rights activist in the sense that I don't want to see them abused, but I also believe that the US hasn't seen a famine in a long, long time because of some of the things we do. But we all know it's to keep things cheaper and not for the end user. It's not so that beef is cheap enough for any family to buy it. It's so that the people who are selling it, the big ag corps, can make trillions instead of billions, right? And it's so some fucking CEO's ego and boat can be bigger than the other guys, right? And that's what fucking bothers me about it. But he had a really good little chunk on, thinking about that. And my point to that rant was basically that even though I don't like Mar, I don't have to like you. I don't have to like your political affiliations. I don't have to like the way that you present things. But every now and again, you might drop a little nugget that I agree with. And that's okay. It's okay to agree with
No, you can't agree with anybody who voted opposite you in the election.
There you go. You just summed up, I think, like 85%.
You just hate them, and if you did agree with something that they said, now you change your viewpoint so that now you disagree.
It's contagious. Them. Liberalism and conservatism are fucking contagious, and you can get it on you. Oh God, I got some conservative on me.
Oh no.
Ew. Yeah. I just don't understand why people are like that. It's tribalism. I mean, I know Doug and I think Adam and I have definitely had the conversation about tribalism, and it's dangerous. It's stupid, and we're beyond that. Human beings are more intelligent than that. We have.
No, we're not.
Both of you guys are laughing and shaking your heads. I know, but I do believe that. I guess I am an ideologist. I do have some hope, some faith in humanity. And you talk about the whole pig bird thing. I keep pushing 2 movies on people. One, because I'm a huge zombie apocalypse fucking nerd, or apocalypse nerd. Don't watch The Road. Okay. Just don't watch The Road right now. I don't recommend that. But Contagion in 28 Weeks.
And National Treasure 2.
National Treasure 2. I sat and watched all of those movies, both of them.
Did you?
No, I haven't seen those in years. I can't stand Nicolas Cage. Contagion really breaks down all the way to people selling bullshit cures and everything else. And it was actually, there was a consultant on that movie, and I think I talked about this once before, and he's an epidemiologist and really good at what he does. And I think that's why that movie, it's fucking creepy, man. It's a hemorrhagic fever, so your brain turns to bloody mush, right? So it's a little bit more severe than what we're going through. But there's a lot of really neat shit. And at one point, they kind of show sort of a scenario where a bat with one kind of virus transfers it to a pig, where it then does the viral nasty, as you put it, and turns into this.
Isn't that when your sex tape gets really popular?
Yeah, the viral nasty, theviralnasty.com. The viral nasty.
Sounds terrible.
Right? And I like that movie because it really kind of can show people where this shit comes from. Mm-hmm. And 28 weeks is a perfect example of taking an asymptomatic carrier into again, it's a zombie movie, so it's over the top, it's sci-fi, but it's based in some interesting reality in the sense that you take an asymptomatic carrier, you put them into an area where they thought we were clean, we were good, we've had things under control, and boom, it flares up and everything goes to fucking hell, right? That's kind of where I'm at with the whole, open everything back up. Okay, that's fine, guys, but let's put our seatbelts and our helmets on too. Okay.
No, just open it.
All right. Well, if you start digging into this, and there's some interesting videos about this on YouTube, especially if you're like me when you started reading the stories about Spanish conquest, and you're wondering how a few boatloads of people with some armor and swords and primitive firearms take on populations of 6, 10, 20 million people and somehow magically come out on top without any sort of, they didn't roll in there with fucking phaser guns and goddamn shuttles. No,
biological warfare, unintended biological warfare.
Yeah, and that was the whole thing about it, because once they started digging back into it, and when they came over, they introduced all these diseases, and the diseases killed more people in the population than the invaders actually ever did. And then they started questioning that. Well, why didn't it go the other way? Why, when they showed up, were they not introduced to diseases that were, that would have been prevalent in North America and then turn around and carry that shit home? Well, it was because European society at the time, they had a large animal population with sheep and every fucking thing else that you can possibly imagine that you could turn around and use for food or livestock or for some sort of work. So you had all these animals that were living amongst all these people. And the classic plagues have always been a disease that was carried by another animal, and it may or may not have fucked them up, and then crossed over to human populations. So the Europeans were exposed to many, many, many more viruses, bacteria, parasites, anything else that you can fucking name than the American Indians or the Incas or the Mayans or anybody else were. So when the Europeans came over, what primarily did the job for them was the diseases that they brought with them, because they had never been exposed to any of that shit. And,
a lot of mutated viruses.
Yeah.
It's not stuff that necessarily would have occurred, or would have, the probability of it occurring would have been much, much lower had you not, again, taken all of these livestock animals, crushed them into small groups, and let this shit just play like a petri dish.
So yet again, just like 28 weeks, you have people that are effectively asymptomatic that come over because they've been swimming around in pools of this shit in European cities. So they come over and they spread it 28-week style.
Yeah, and I don't know why that's so difficult for people to understand. Virology and epidemiology, I understand it's a very, very, very super, very complicated thing, but some of this is just some what I consider basic biology, right? But I've learned to stop suffering stupid fucking people. Actually, I haven't. I do it every day, and it's become sort of a weird obsession for me. I was actually just reading an article that it says the new coronavirus is likely to keep spreading for at least another 18 months to 2 years until 60 to 70% of the population has been infected, a team of long-standing pandemic experts predicted in a report released Thursday. Well, duh. I mean, and that's a good.
Well, there's the vaccine, and then we'll have the dumb fucks that are like, that's what they put the government trackers in.
Yeah, the nanotechnology that Bill Gates has invented. And, I'm still seeing a ton of fucking hate. I mean, I've got family members that are like, Bill Gates is trying to fucking control the world and he created this pandemic. And I'm like, oh my God. We have become, as a society, so bored and fucking spoiled that we can't even see logic anymore because it's just boring. The idea that a trillionaire or whatever the fuck he is these days is putting money into a coronavirus. A lot of people are saying, well, it's because he wants to be richer than he already is. Historically, over the last 10 or 15 years, if you read articles and shit and interviews with him, he's not, he has absolutely no interest, not any interest in money, but I think he's one of them that he's not leaving the money to his kids. Nope. It's all being donated.
Taking that pledge, him and Warren Buffett and a few others.
Right. So it's like where
I'd be pissed.
But again, if the guy, he's got all the money he needs and he comes across that way as one of those dudes, it's like, I've got all the money I need and money you need and you need and you need. I don't think he's doing it for the money. I honestly think he does have some philanthropic, DNA running through him. And we've become a society where we can't even accept when somebody's trying to do something good, we immediately pounce on it and find all the negative in it. Right. And I'm a negative human being, right? I'm real good. I'm a cynic. I'm real good at looking at that, but some things just don't play out that way to me. If he was some guy that was worth maybe a couple million and he was doing it out of nowhere or whatever, I'd say, okay, this dude's profiteering. He's trying to figure out a way to make money off this. I really don't think that's what Gates is trying to do. But I'm in the minority on that one, apparently.
Well, I mean, let's play devil's advocate.
I'm real good at that. Let's go.
All right. I'm a Bond villain. We'll just set the stage here.
You would be the worst Bond villain ever, for the record. Your ADD would fuck up all of your plans, but go ahead.
They never work anyway. It'd be a perfect Bond villain.
But regardless,
a trap and YouTube.
Just putting that out there as far as the frame of evil that I would have to be.
Evil.
So let's say that I was trying to eliminate a large percentage of the population of the world. I would not pick the coronavirus to do it. Is it nasty? Yeah, it's nasty. But
it's a great disruptor if you wanted to disrupt shit.
Yeah, but for me, as a Bond villain who, like clubs baby seals for breakfast or whatever,
boink.
What I would do is I would go after the nastiest of the nasty. I would go after the hemorrhagic fevers.
Fuck yes. Hemorrhagic fever.
And what I would do is take that, combine it with some properties of rabies, and turn around and make the shit airborne and make the nastiest goddamn thing that you've ever seen in your life. People bleeding out of every orifice that would literally chew your face off. I would create the zombie apocalypse. Because if you look at what rabies does, basically your aggression center, it turns it up to not to 11, but to about 47. It goes way beyond, especially when you've got stories of people that encounter raccoons. That's the one. Those are the stories that you tend to see the most often. That these raccoons go and chase after dogs and people and everything else because they're just angrier than Dan at everybody. So they're just going fucking ballistic. Now, if you combined that with a hemorrhagic fever and you made that shit airborne, you would probably reduce the population of the world by about 85% pretty fucking quickly, especially if you turned around and you made the incubation period of that shit something like 21 days with a 14-day contagion period.
But again, you could say that, like with coronavirus, I'm not going to completely rule out the idea that it was man-made. I don't believe that it was. But a lot of people say, well, no, because, right, you'd go with a hemorrhagic fever, right? You'd make this thing fucking nasty. But it depends on what your goal is, right? If you wanted to wipe out a population, yes, you would use that. It would fade them out. If you just want to disrupt the fuck out of everything, you make it kind of what we've got right now, you know? Again, I don't believe it was man-made. I think this is, well, it was in the sense that I believe that the wet markets and the way that food handling and things like that, animal handling, probably helped create this all the way back to, like you said, the Spanish Inquisition, which no one, by the way, expects. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I fucked that up. But yeah, and that's, you know, it's funny because, again, my sci-fi brain goes back to like 28 days. And that is probably one of the, you know, they called it the rage virus, which kind of, I was like, come on, guys, you wrote a great movie and you're going to call it the rage virus. But
rabies wouldn't have sold as well.
No, but you're right. You're right. If you could find a way to control rabies like that or look at its mechanism of action, what does it do to cause these, you know, biological carriers to become incredibly aggressive and angry, and then twist that, amplify it, whatever. You literally could make a virus that causes human beings to run around just being violent assholes. Come on, let's face it. We're not too far from it fucking now. It wouldn't take much of a push to get about as much push as it takes to get an influencer to fall over a cliff. So that was just for you, Doug. I'm a horrible fucking person. Yes. When I go to hell, I'm going to be too busy shaking hands and you know, meeting old friends to.
Well, I won't be alone in hell.
No, many of us will not.
Oh shit! What are you doing here, man?
Hey, buddy. Oh, kids.
We got front row seats. Look at this shit.
All right, if you need me, I'll be over here with Hitler and the pineapple.
Where are you going? I'm on the 7th ring. Where are you at? Oh, I'm on the 3rd ring.
I just cheated on my taxes.
You got to step up your game, bro. Do you even sin, yo?
The 7th ring. The 7th ring's where it's at.
Oh my god! I wish I was still doing T-shirts because that would be one. Do you even sin? Yo, bro, do you even sin? That would sell like hotcakes. Somebody told me yesterday. She says, "Just because I'm cute, don't mean I'm fucking stupid." I was like, "That's brilliant. I love that." So it's yeah, I don't know, man. The world is a weird fucking place. It always has been. It's always going to be. So, but it doesn't mean that I'm just going to stop bitching about it because that's what I do. Right? That's what I'm good at.
So, what are we going to call this episode, guys? Cliff diving.
Cliff diving. I kind of like the viral nasty.
Oh yes, the viral nasty. That's it.
That's gotta definitely gotta grab some headlines. I highly encourage people to share this podcast if they like it. We've gotten some decent traction. I'm very, very, very proud of it. Very happy. But at the end of the day, I do this because I enjoy doing it. I like talking to Doug and Adam, and sometimes Rich when he's around. I like bullshit with these guys. We don't always agree. We give each other a lot of shit and grief, which is good. But we tend to respect what the other ones have to say. And I think, again, it boils back to what Adam? What?
Koresh did nothing wrong.
Hashtag free Koresh. Oh, wait. If by that you mean spread his fucking ashes, then go for it. So, I got nothing, gentlemen. I think I'm all out of bullshit for right now, or bullshirt.
Bullshirt.
I'm all out of bullshirt right now. So
Yeah,
I think Doug's got to go play golf. So
yeah, it's but and I can fill 2 minutes with that. But yeah, what they're doing.
That's what she said.
Oh, that's good shit. But what they're doing is it's one person to a cart. You check in like outside. The ball does not physically fall down in the hole. They put a special in there to where it sits up on top.
Yeah,
and
so you don't have to reach down in.
Yeah, so more or less, if you hit the stick, it's in there. So I mean, they've taken all the precautions that they can, and it allows me to still get outside,
right?
Which keeps me from wanting to slit my own wrist and jump out the fucking window, other such things.
Take a selfie first.
I'll be sure to stand close to the edge of something when I do.
There you go. Exactly. I think it's a good thing. I think getting people out, I think reopening things again, taking some precautions until we have a little more data and can figure this out is okay, right? Me wearing a mask to the store doesn't make me a sheep. It doesn't mean that I'm buying into the liberal agenda or
wake
that
up.
the aliens wake the fuck up. Hashtag Koresh. This would be a really good time to start a cult. I'm just putting that out there. I am pretty sure I was born to be a cult leader at some point.
Well, I mean, all you've got to do is find some gullible assholes,
and they're everywhere.
Exactly.
There's no lack of them.
There's legions.
Speak with conviction.
And the first thing you do is say, all the outside media is lying to you.
Absolutely.
I am the source of truth.
Only believe
the Branch Danidians.
The Branch Danidians and Danidians. I'm more of a Far Cry type cult guy anyway.
Oh, we're going to tattoo weird shit on you? That's...
I've already done that. So
I want to carve different sins into my skin.
I can help you with
Far
that.
Cry.
I can help you. Hell yeah, Far Cry. Hashtag hell yeah, Far Cry.
Jesus.
I love it.
All right, guys, that's all I've got.
All righty, gentlemen. As usual, I appreciate it. We had fun. Well, I had fun. If you didn't have fun, it'd be a lot like most of my sexual experiences, but whatever.